Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be testing out a new foundation today. This is the Sephora Best Skin Ever Foundation. Now this foundation comes into 50 shades, which is quite astonishing. However, the shade range is quite inconsistent, and also I would say that a lot of shades look quite similar, which is onto the more medium skin tone. This foundation retails for $20 US, which is somewhere around 1800 rupees. Now this claims to have anti-pollution properties. So this foundation has a lot of ingredients which are for hydrating purposes. This has hyaluronic acid, red algae extract, brown algae extract, which provides an anti-pollution protective shield. So we are going to be testing out these claims because I'm going to be heading out for a dinner tonight, and I'm going to be doing some checks in between and show you guys how it wears throughout the day. So the shade which I have picked is 31Y. Now Y stands for yellow undertones. As you guys know, I have somewhere around like yellow to olive undertones in my skin, and I'm gonna just give it a quick shake. Half side of my face I'm gonna be using a beauty blender, and the other side of my face I'm gonna be using my foundation brush, and I'm gonna see whether it makes any such difference or not. So before my foundation, I always use some sort of primer or moisturizer. I'm gonna be taking my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. So I'm gonna use it around the problematic areas where I feel that I have more so pores visible. I'm gonna just spread this across my face. So I'm gonna let this primer sit in for a minute before applying our foundation. As usual, I'm gonna take one pump onto my back of my hand, and I'm gonna start pressing these dots, and we're gonna go further with it if we need any more foundation and see whether one pump is good enough. As you guys can see, it has started oxidizing immediately, which is not great. I'm gonna take my beauty blender and start blending this foundation out. Now this foundation looks totally off on my face right now. It's giving me this Oompa Loompa effect, which I'm not a fan of. This is looking quite orange onto my skin, quite frankly. However, the finish of this foundation is very much natural, and it's like skin-like. It blends completely perfectly. I'm gonna use the brush onto the other side and see how it blends. Okay, this foundation really has medium coverage and this natural satin finish. It does remind me of my Too Faced Born With This Way foundation. A lot of people claim that this is also due to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I have never used that foundation because that's quite bougie expensive, and I don't have the dollars to spend and afford that at the minute. So I'm gonna take another pump of that. I'm gonna do the rest of my face, which is my forehead. The sad part is that this foundation really starts oxidizing very quickly onto the skin, which is not so good. I'm just gonna press this leftover foundation into my sponge around my eyes to give myself a very much of like a evening coverage. I'm not gonna be wearing any eyeshadows today when I'm going out, so this is gonna be my going out sort of like a beat. So I'm gonna use a little bit more and see whether it's also buildable or not. So yes, you guys can see it is quite buildable and does not give this sort of like a streaky effect when I'm using it with the brush. The only sad part is the shade match. I have matched this quite well. Like I have mentioned so many times in this video, it has oxidized a lot, which I think I'm gonna just balance out by adding a little bit of a concealer. So I'm gonna set all of this base using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. Mist it around my face. So far my skin looks quite natural and the foundation is sitting quite well on my face. I'm gonna just finish off the rest of my face and I'll be right back. So I'm back, and on my lips I'm wearing this Benetint Rose Lip and Cheek Stain. Also on top of that, I'm wearing the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. This is giving me a very much of like a natural glossy lip. I'm gonna just head out for my dinner after a while, and I'm gonna come back and give you guys the final thoughts about this foundation and how it has performed throughout the day. So stay tuned. So I'm back and it's almost midnight, and this foundation overall has performed really out of my expectations. It has gone oily a little bit around my T-zone, which anyway happens with regardless of any foundation which I wear. Apart from that, I don't see any sort of separation happening at all. The only complaint I have with this foundation is the shade range and how quickly it oxidizes onto the skin. But nonetheless, I do think that this foundation is worth to try for if you get your correct match. So I'm gonna go to Sephora and pick 1 or 2 shades lighter of the same foundation, and I hope it gives me a right match for my foundation. So I'm gonna put a link to this foundation down into my description box. Make sure to check it out and subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna see you guys in my next one.